So your boy has finally done it. I have hit the legend rank in GBL Season 7 in the Retro Cup. So of course, I must share the bounty with my viewers here and let you guys know what my team was to get me there in the Retro Cup. Now I was thinking about doing this team video a couple days ago, but I learned my lesson from the Remix Cup. If you guys remember, in the Remix Cup, I was riding the 2990s for like the longest time when I made that video, and I feel like that video kind of set me back a little bit because I'd get all these DMs from people on Twitter like, "Sorry Swag man, I had to do it, I knew what your back line was and I had to just end you, man. I saw the video, I'm sorry." And I was like, you know what? I actually do want to hit legend, so I'm just gonna wait a couple days, hit legend first, and then do the video. So I'm glad I did that. At any rate, what is this magical team that got me to this point? Well, it's Alolan Graveler, Froslass, and Shadow Hypno. This team was inspired by the training analysis feature on PvPoke. I saw it there. This team was actually the rank 2 team there, and it really resonated with me because of my experience with the Catacomb Cup. The Catacomb Cup was a Silpharina Cup in Season 2 of the Silpharina, and Alolan Graveler ended up being this like spicy lead option that you could threaten your opponents with, and Froslass was also a really good Pokemon there. A big key difference with the Catacomb Cup and the Retro Cup here is that they had Umbreon. Instead of Umbreon, we have Lickers, so it's a little bit more comfortable for Froslass in this particular cup. So yeah, Froslass definitely an ace pick here in the Retro Cup. But with my experience running Alolan Graveler, Froslass lines in that particular cup, it really just fit really nicely to use this team here in the Retro Cup. When it comes to Alolan Graveler in the lead compared to the other Rock-type Pokemon, primarily Regirock and Crustle, the main popular ones here, I feel like Alolan Graveler is like the perfect synergy of both of them. Like Regirock, the Volt Switch gives you that rapid energy gain so you can reach those powerful stone edges really quickly, but unlike Regirock, you've got Rock Blast to threaten shields with. Focus Blast is pretty good. The normal type Pokemon do not like the Focus Blast there, but I feel like that drop in speed, the inability to bait there, I feel like that definitely holds Regirock back. And then when it comes to Crustle, I feel like Crustle has that nice aggressive fast move, but it doesn't really reach its charge moves fast enough compared to the Alolan Graveler. Alolan Graveler has that fast move threat. It might not be as threatening as Crustle's, but because we reach those powerful charge moves really quickly, I feel like that really puts Alolan Graveler ahead. And when it comes to the lead matchup situation, I feel like Alolan Graveler more often than not is coming out on top against those Pokemon, or at least sets my Pokemon up to KO them with a fast move before they can reach their next charge move kind of situation. I feel like Alolan Graveler is just better. Then when it comes to Froslass, Froslass is probably the best Pokemon in this entire cup. It gets a couple extra fast moves on it, and it can get shields. You bring in a Licker to take it on. The Lickers, more often than not, can't tolerate 2 avalanches, so they're going to be spending shields. So Froslass, just a really powerful, really aggressive Pokemon. And then Shadow Hypno in the back. You can use just about any fighting type resistor in the back here. It doesn't have to be Shadow Hypno. I have patrons that have been using like Altaria, Galvantula, and Drifblim there, so just about any fighting type resistor can work. I do like the Shadow Hypno though, because it does have that heavy fast move damage with the Shadow Confusion going on. And I feel like a hidden aspect of this team is its ability to keep up the charge move and fast move pressure on the opponents by being able to KO with the fast move if they get knocked out. The opponent's got that little schniblet of red left, you got the Shadow Confusions to take them on, you got the Volt Switches to take them down, you got the Powdered Snows to take them down, give you that energy lead for the next matchup, and then because all these Pokemon are really good in neutral, you can just keep that ball rolling to victory when it looks like you could be behind. So I do like the aggressive fast move damage there. So with a team this powerful and dynamic, what are the main threats? Clearly, it's got to be those Lickers, right? Or like a double normal line. Actually, I'm pretty comfortable against normal type Pokemon because, like I said in my Retro Cup simplified video, the normal types really do rely on their fast move damage more than their charge move damage when it comes to overcoming the Ghost and the Psychic Pokemon. So as long as you keep that in mind when it comes to how you approach those matchups, when you swap out, when you let charge moves go through, the normal types are relatively easy to manage. What is really difficult to manage though, surprisingly enough, is that frickin' Primeape, man. That thing is just super deadly as lead, super deadly as a swap in, because it reaches those Night Slashes so quickly that it's gonna get a shield from me. And it's also gonna deal some massive damage to me too, unless I want to spend 2 shields or like throw a charge move or something. So I feel like more often than not, when Primeape happens on my opponent's team, it's going to set me behind and I'm going to have to fight extra hard in order to pull ahead. Primeape just pretty much always has the advantage against me. Another Pokemon that's really annoying to deal with is the Alolan Marowak. If I catch it in the lead, it's not that bad because, I can throw rock-type attacks at it and whittle it down, get it to a position where I can confusion damage it down before it can reach like the Shadow Bones or the Shadow Balls on my Hypno, should I lose with Alolan Graveler. But if it comes in at the right time, Alolan Marowak is just a complete nightmare to deal with. Like when it comes to Alolan Graveler, you got those Bone Clubs. Bone Club is like kind of the joke attack. It does like no damage. But against Alolan Graveler, it does get double super effectiveness. Electric, weak to ground, rock, weak to ground. So it takes out over half of my HP when they throw that little nothing Bone Club there. So Alolan Marowaks are just a nightmare to deal with. But we can whittle those down. Definitely a lot less of a nightmare than what Primeape can be, surprisingly enough. And then the final archetype of Pokemon to make this team cry a little bit is going to be those Mud Boys. I can overcome the Mud Boys, but if I do run into that double Mud Boy line, it's just not happening there. Like, I can barely handle one Mud Boy as it is. So yeah, Mud Boys can be a little bit of a struggle. Now, a Alolan Marowak Primeape Mud Boy team. I've not seen that. I wonder how that would go. Probably very poorly. And then I know that those double and triple dragon teams are all the rage here, but as long as you know that if you get the advantage in shields with the Alolan Graveler, the fast move damage from Froslass and Shadow Hypno should carry you home against those teams. So yeah, the dragon teams, they're McNothing to me. I don't even consider them to be a threat. Now I know you guys are itching to see the battles that took me to Legend here, but before we get there, I want to give you a little peek under the hood, help you understand the IVs of my Pokemon before you go trying to build this team yourself. First up, we have my Alolan Graveler. It is the 3-15-14, the rank 142. And this is the best rank Alolan Graveler I have. And when it comes to this particular cup, I don't feel like you really do need a good rank Alolan Graveler in order to do well. The high rank, for the most part, was important for the Catacomb Cup in the Umbreon matchup. Basically, you needed a 116 HP stat and some decent defense in order to overcome Umbreon in the one shield situation there, which was like one of the central big things that you'd want to do if you're bringing Alolan Graveler in the Catacomb Cup. Obviously, Umbreon isn't here in the Retro Cup, but if you're going to build an Alolan Graveler, you may as well build it right for the long term and keep that there just in case you're in a situation where you use it and Umbreon is in existence, right? But that was like a key thing with it. I was looking through the simulations here for this video, and I really didn't see any situations like that where I really needed to have that extra HP. So if you're just building a general whatever one for this cup for like the next 2 days, try to squeeze in like an extra 100 or 200 points there, I think any Alolan Graveler should be fine. And if you're checking the IVs and you notice that like Alolan Golem hits a little bit better, Alolan Golem's like effectively the same thing. It's got a lower stat product, so it's generally not as good as the Alolan Graveler is. Like when it came to the Catacomb Cup, it was a lot more difficult to get a IV spread on a Golem in order to take on the Umbreon in the one shield situation. But beyond that, they're effectively the same Pokemon. They have effectively the same moveset. You're using Rock Blast and Stone Edge, so effectively the same moveset. So yeah, not too much to worry about there, especially in the Retro Cup here. Then next up we have Froslass, and I talked about this in the past, and I'm going to talk about it again here. You really want a good rank on the Froslass. You want like the 0 attack stat, you want the high defense, you want the high HP, because Froslass is the kind of Pokemon that can really benefit from having that extra bulk. That situation where you get that extra final Powder Snow to reach that Avalanche to get the KO versus not happens very often with Froslass. So if you can get a really good rank one, really good investment there. If you don't have one, try to get one for the future because every single bit of HP and defense matters for the Froslass. If you want some examples of how this can matter, in the 1-1 shield situation against the Alolan Graveler, you can tank a Rock Blast and KO back with the Avalanche. Now, of course, the 1 shield situation, PvPoke will tell you he'll beat you with the Stone Edge anyways, but as an Alolan Graveler player, I'm probably not thinking about the Stone Edge if I don't have an energy lead. I'm probably going to want to do as much damage to the Froslass as I can before I go down, so I'm probably thinking about the Rock Blasts more, and if it's a bad rank Froslass, the Rock Blast will KO, so why not go for the Rock Blast? Boom! big, thick, tanky Froslass that can actually tank the Rock Blast there. Other situations, there is the 1-1 shield situation against Wishcash, and then there is like the 2-2 or like the 2-1, depending on the circumstances, matchup against the Deoxys defense form. If you've got the really big rank, then you can tolerate at least one Rock Slide, which can put you ahead in the Deoxys defense form matchup. And then this extra defense and HP can also help out against the Lickers as well in more uneven niche situations. If they hit you with the Body Slam, they don't hit you with the bigger attack, then you can reach like an extra avalanche after a series of licks. It's a more uneven kind of goofy situation, but it's that little bit of extra consistency that can make Froslass be like really freaking good. So I just realized I went through all the matchups with you, but I didn't talk about the IV spread. Yeah, mine here is the 0, 11, 13. And it's really good, but it could be a little bit better. This gives my Froslass a 131 HP stat. If it is a 132 HP stat, it would be so much better. Trust me, I know much how better it would be because I've done all the simulations in the past, and I did a bunch of simulations before this video. And if I had that 1 extra HP stat, it'd be that much better. But I am happy with the really good rank Froslass that I do have. But just letting you guys know, the HP, the defense, really matters for Froslass here if you can get it. And then finally we have the Shadow Hypno, and my Shadow Hypno is the 10, 12, 15. So definitely not the best Shadow Hypno in the universe. It is the rank 994. Yeah. Nothing super intelligent happening here with the Shadow Hypno IVs. I can't give you an exact cutoff for like what the good Shadow Hypno IVs are, but the tankier it can be, definitely the better on the Shadow Hypno. For example, when it comes to the Medicham matchup, those Ice Punches really do pack a punch on you. And, you know, Shadow Hypno, you'd think it could win the 1-2 shield situation, but because mine is so fragile compared to a bulkier one, a Medicham could actually take me in the 1-2 shield situation, where if I had that bulk, I'd be able to tolerate the Ice Punches and the counter damage a bit better, and be able to take down the Medicham, or have more situations where I can just full farm the Medicham. But because mine is so fragile, I don't really have that advantage. So definitely focusing on that. We do have a Frustration TM event coming up. Starts on the 18th, and it's like a whole week of being able to TM Frustration. So if you don't have a Shadow Hypno built already, it might be a really good time to at least TM a Shadow Drowsy, and get that prepared for the future there. Right now I don't have a better candidate, so I'm a little bit stuck with the Shadow Hypno I have, but Shadow Hypno definitely makes me happy. I guess good news is, with having such bad IVs on my Shadow Hypno, is when it comes to Hypno Mirror matchups, if we end up getting synced up on like a CMP tie, at least I'll probably be taking that CMP tie. So there is an advantage here, but I really would like to have that bigger bulk. And now you guys know way more than you ever needed to know about this team. Let's get into the battles. Alright, so our first match here is against Hiroki07. I'm sending out my A-Grav, and it is Alolan Marowak. So definitely better to see Alolan Marowak in the lead position, where I have a little bit more control over what energy they have. They do have the Hex though, so any Bone Clubs are definitely coming sooner than later. So I just start Rock Blasting right away because, like, yeah, I want to do as much damage as I possibly can to this thing as soon as I can, because Alolan Marowak is just such a big problem for my team. And yeah, as you can see, the high speed here of the Hex is paying off for them. That Bone Club, I was not joking, does a ton of damage. So my opponent here swaps into Kingdra, and this is pretty good. Typically, when I see like a Dragon or a Kingdra safe swap in general, I'll try to hit them with a Rock Blast or maybe a Stone Edge, depending on where my energy is on the swap in. So I don't mind catching that with it, and that's mostly to make the, you know, Hypno coming in and beating it matchup a little bit more consistent there. As you can see, they probably tanked it thinking that they could survive and just reach their charge move, but it didn't work out for them, because that little extra chunk of damage definitely goes a long way when it comes to this type of stuff. So here, I called the Shadow Bone, I get them with that, and I go in for the Thunder Punch, knowing that they're basically in Thunder Punch KO range. And they weren't quite there, but they did swap immediately out into the Altaria. So having Altaria come up is pretty nice too, because I do have Froslass in the back. So sitting pretty there with the hard counter there, even if they do reach a charge move, it's not really going to change the outcome of this fight all that much, because, you know, AWAC is down for the count. They have Altaria into my Froslass, and yeah, AWAC comes back in, and we close that fight out. Then we got my second fight here against Herodos. We've got the Jellicent. So Jellicent as a lead is pretty nice because I got that electric type coverage, but this guy swaps in Primeape, the bane of my life. They always reach the Night Slash so quick. It really is a struggle here. So I shield up the Night Slash, and then I go to throw the Thunder Punch just because of my experience in fighting these things. I know that they're going to be able to reach that next Night Slash right away, so I'm trying to preserve some HP here, knowing that both Hypno and Jelly have a pretty good matchup. Both Hypno and Graveler have a pretty good matchup against the Jellicent here. So Jellicent comes in, and I just start throwing punches. If I try to reach the Shadow Ball, they'll probably reach their Shadow Ball, so it's like a pretty ugly situation. So I just try to throw as fast as I can with the Thunder Punches on Jelly, and a lot of Ghosts when I'm behind a shield, just because Froslass really wants to be ahead on a shield, or at least even shields for the end game there. So I swap an A-Grav, and they got Shadow Machamp, so it's pretty much a done deal here. Shadow Machamp can beat Froslass when it's up a shield. It can even beat Froslass in even shield situations if it's up energy even, so it's like kind of a struggle at this point. I'm doing my best to put in whatever I can to try to swing this match around, but it's pretty much a done deal here. Machamp comes in and just has absolute advantage over this team. Double fighting in the back, double fighting. Usually double fighting isn't so hard for this team, but if it's specifically Primeape and Shadow Machamp, then yeah, it's definitely a little bit too aggressive for my team to handle, especially if they get a shield advantage on me there, which this one did. Hats off to this guy. Then for the third match on my Divine Ascension, we have Vanity 6, what was that, Nasty? Vanity 6 Nasty, sending out to Dewgong. So another really positive lead for the Alolan Graveler here. My whole team really doesn't mind Dewgong at all, but we do mind Mew, and whenever Mew's in the lead or Mew's at a safe swap, same thing as with the Dragons, I just keep A-Grav in because nobody wants to deal with Mew, especially when it's up a shield. So I may as well just start blasting away, do whatever damage I can to take this thing down. So they shield the Rock Blast, and usually when they shield the Rock Blast, I'm feeling kind of tall as far as throwing a Stone Edge goes, because usually these guys don't want to burn too many shields on me. But I guess in this particular situation, I do end up throwing the Rock Blast a second time. It's always a little 50-50 in my mind which one I want to go with. And there, I tried to catch their Charge Move with the Hypno, so I could just like tap them with a Confusion to take them out there. Didn't work out that way, and they ended up catching me with the Surfetch there too. So not exactly the greatest situation in the world for me. Good news is Surfetch'd isn't Primeape. So Surfetch will be taking enough damage from my Confusion that they'll only be able to reach the one Night Slash. So yeah, definitely love the Surfetch of the world. If you've been using Surfetch and you feel like it's been not tanky enough for your tastes, definitely consider swapping to the Primeape for that Night Slash game. It's just thick enough to give Hypno here a headache at least. And yeah, final Pokemon is Dewgong. They're up a shield, but it doesn't matter too much because I got Thunder Punches for days. I got a full-fledged Omega HP Froslass in the back waiting for them. I get to the Shadow Ball. No matter what happens here though, it's pretty much over. You can throw your Icy Winds, you can throw your Aqua Pulses, you can throw your Blizzards. The fight's over, man. Then we got my fourth opponent here. We got Sorachibi. I didn't read that fast enough. They're leading in with Shadow Hypno. And yeah, just like a lot of these matchups, you'll notice a lot of these matchups, it's just stay in with A-Grav because A-Grav has probably the best matchup out of everything I have against most Pokemon. If it's not a fighting type Pokemon, A-Grav is probably staying in. If it's Politoed, I might switch to Hypno, but A-Grav's gonna hang out for a little bit at least. So yeah, just throwing charge moves at this thing. If you can land the Stone Edge on a Cresselia or a Hypno or a Shadow Hypno, that's always great, but it doesn't always work out that way. And then typically against the Hypno matchups and the Shadow Hypno matchups, I swap to my own Hypno because they're usually put in a position where they have to throw Shadow Ball or just get Confusion down. So they always basically will throw the Shadow Ball, and if they swap out after that, then they have enough HP where they're not really much of a threat to me at all anymore. So I don't know, I guess it's just like a little experience talking there with fighting against the Hypnos. But yeah, usually swapping my Hypno into Hypno when Hypno's ready to like basically keel over, it usually works out. Very predictable on their actions. And yeah, they bring in Altaria for the end game there. I've got Froslass. I think they quit out here. Oh no, they're going for it, man. This guy's in it to win it. Sorachibi 67 or whatever, he does not want to take the L here. But you basically need a miracle to help you out here because, you know, it's Altaria, man. You're up against Froslass and whatever I else have left of this team. It's not going to go good. And then for my final match in my Ascension, we're up against Marty Smarty. Leading in here with a Mew. So, Mew in the lead, Mew has a swap. Doesn't matter, I'm keeping A-Grav in because I really want to beat this thing down as fast as possible. A little tip for people that are still using Mews out there, if you are up against the Alolan Graveler, charge up like you're going to Surf because I will always shield like the fake Surf. Like if you throw a Dragon Claw, and I know that it's Dragon Claw because of how fast you threw it, you're not going to get a shield from me right away. But if you make me think it's a Surf, you're probably going to get a shield because I don't want to get hit by no Surf. But yeah, and boom, there. Hit them with the Stone Edge, take them out right away, and yeah, and then they bring in Pidgeot. And that was kind of an interesting pick because I was like, I wasn't sure like how threatening Pidgeot could be because I haven't looked at any sims on this thing, using the brand new Gust attack, and it doesn't seem like Pidgeot's doing so hot. So I don't know if this speaks poorly for the move Gust. I know we got Yveltal coming out soon, that thing has Gust, and Gust hasn't really been simming too well for it either. We really do like Snarl on the Yveltal. But yeah, the spicy Pidgeot here, I don't know what that thing dominates, but it definitely is not dominating me here with the Hypno. So yeah, and then Hypno v Medicham at the end with a full-fledged Froslass in the back. Doesn't matter. This fight's basically done. But Maddie here, or Marty, yeah, Marty Smarty is hanging it out. I get to the Shadow Ball, and that's game. The game, of course, that took the Swagman straight to Legend. Did I make you guys watch that whole process? I don't know if I cut the video out before that. No, I think I made you guys watch it. Let's see. So yeah, I win there. You can see I collect all my amazing rewards. The 4 out of 1. We got a Flaffy, of course. And like, I don't want to waste no time, so I'm just giving it the Golden Raz right away. I just want to see if I'm hitting Legend or not right now. I didn't even get the Great Throw. My streak. Broken. I think I nicknamed it, yeah, I nicknamed it Pog. For luck, right? Because like I could easily get the $29.99 and boom, there we go. 3,000 Swagman is a legend off of the Alolan Graveler team here. That thing's just a beast. People just don't respect it. It's fast enough, it's powerful enough. Alolan Graveler definitely carried my way all the way here. Big Froslass helped out too. And there you have it, Swagman has hit the Legend rank finally. I was kind of nervous there, you know, Ultra League took me down 300 points, but I climbed right back up with the Retro Cup here. I really do hope Pokemon Go keeps doing these limited formats, because when it comes to like the standard ones, I feel like everybody knows the meta so well and they're already so built and so good that it's really hard to compete there. But when it comes to these like limited time ones, like I've got enough like, you know, metagame knowledging, enough resources and enough smart allies where I can really get ahead of the pack that much sooner. So I hope they keep this up for my sake, getting Legend in Pokemon Go. At any rate, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you got any questions on this content, comment below. Let me know what's up. I'll be happy to help you out. And yeah, let me know in the comments, how is your climb to the legendary rank in Season 7 going? Are you almost there? Have you already made it? Let us know in the comments. At any rate, if you enjoyed this content, you want to see more like it, make sure to subscribe to SwagTips. I'd also like to give a special shout out to these Patreon supporters. If you want to support Swagman on Patreon, link in the description. Yeah.